Hello there. Let me do this real quick. You know, I have to do this every single time. I got to check it out, make sure it's working right. No crazy sounds. And we are now live at Shop Talk again. It seems like somebody said that my program started later than 8 o'clock. And I'm not sure why, because I start it right at 8 o'clock. It actually gives me a countdown. And when it says 0 on the timer, I absolutely hit the go live button. And it looks like my friend Dave has already chimed in. How's it going, Dave? Welcome to Shop Talk. I'm sure vacation was fantastic. However, I did hear that last night didn't go that well. So welcome to the show, Dave. And I think if we stick around a little bit longer, we will see some other people show up or pop in, hopefully. And it's kind of weird because it seems like the more I do this, the more I feel like I'm flying by the seat of my pants. I used to be really hard on myself and say, well, I have to have everything laid out. I have to have, 5 topics. I have to have, certain things that I want to go over. And it seems like when it comes right down to the wire, I realize that this is what I want to talk about. And so then I start taking notes, and then from there it just kind of snowballs into me having something to talk about. So I am just a little bit disappointed. Let me start off by saying that. I woke up Sunday morning and my router went out. I'm hoping that everything is working right. Dave, can you send me a thumbs up on my audio? Does my audio sound good? Because I had to get a brand new router, and this is the first time with my new router. I want to make sure that my audio and everything is properly. It sounds good. It's not cutting in and out. So yeah, because I spent literally about 3 hours yesterday after I got back from Chicago, and I just hoping that the new router's working well and everything is coming across okay. So yeah, if you could hit me. Okay, there's a thumbs up from Dave. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. It sounds pretty good. So anyway, the router went out, and then I want to go ahead and move into what I want to talk about. There's just a few things. There's a couple things I don't want to talk about, but there are a few things that I want to discuss. And so, I got off the phone with my boss last week, and I have to work next week. So I'm a little bit disappointed with that because, as you know, like I said in my last show, I had the July 10th and 12th was Camaro Superfest up in Michigan. And July 16th through the 19th is Camaro Nationals out in Morgantown, Pennsylvania. I am not going to be able to go to either one of those shows, and I'm a little bit disappointed, but everything happens for a reason, and so I'm just going to leave it at that for right now, because sometimes you never know. You get a phone call, and it could completely change a lot of things that happen in your life. So hang on, I'm going to turn on my fan. I got a nice little nifty fan over there. It's a little warm up here upstairs in my home, in the studio. So again, thanks for stopping back, with me and checking in on me on Shop Talk. I was telling Dave, actually Dave is a good friend of mine, the guy that's sending the comments. He's also a truck driver, and we talk on the phone almost every single night. And I was telling him last night that the older I get, 59 years old, by the way, the older I get, the more I realize that sometimes I'm just doing too much stuff. Like, I got so much going on. And my job already requires me to work 60 plus hours a week. And here lately, what's happening is the weekend comes along and I end up just basically going and doing car stuff. And what happens is I find myself, I don't have time to go grocery shopping. I don't have time to, hardly mow the lawn. I don't have time to, do things around the house that need taken care of. And so last weekend, I had several things going on, and I decided not to do any of it. I stayed home. It didn't help matters that earlier in that week I got sick, and that really kind of drained my energy level. So when the weekend came, I decided to go ahead and just stay home and rest. And I know you guys don't really care about that, but trust me, I'm going somewhere with it, right? So anyway, I decided to go ahead and rest. And I've also made some decisions that is going to simplify my life, hopefully simplify my life. Because as you know, I have two cars right now. I have the Corvette C8 that I just bought a little over a month ago, and I have Mr. Grinch. And it's a lot. Like, I spend all my free time basically doing stuff to the cars, trying to make content for my YouTube channel. And if you are a subscriber, I appreciate that. If you are not a subscriber, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up, because, we're working on trying to grow the channel and working real hard on trying to put out content that, makes you or wants you to, it makes you want to tune in. So anyway, sometimes I get overwhelmed with what do I do next, because literally right now, I have 3 or 4 videos in my bank on my computer that I need to make and put on my YouTube channel, and I don't have time. So with that being said, I decided, maybe it's time for me to step back a little bit. That doesn't mean I'm quitting YouTube. I'm not doing that, so don't freak out. I'm going to continue to do YouTube. I'm just probably not going to post a video as often as I did last year. Now, last year, my goal was to put 1 a week on, and I put 2, sometimes 3 videos up a week on my YouTube channel, and it was great. It was a lot of fun, but it was also a lot of work, because a lot of you don't realize when you put a video on YouTube, it literally takes an hour, 2, sometimes 3 hours to produce that video before you put it on your channel. So not only do I have to make the content, I have to produce it, and then when you produce it, and then it becomes like a lot of work. So I decided that what I want to do is I want to just kind of scale back on how much I do in my life. Like, obviously my work is the most important, because I can't buy any cars without my job. So my main focus is my job, playing music at my church, and YouTube comes down after that. Like, it's a hobby. It's something that I do for fun. It's something that I have a few people I would love to get their cars on my channel. As you know, last year I did quite a few cars. Every car show I went to, I tried to find at least one person that wanted to do a video with me, and we would do a video, and I would, a week or two later, I would post it on my channel. So with all of that being said, basically what I'm wanting to do is I want to continue doing YouTube. I want to continue having fun and meeting people and going to car shows. I'm probably just going to scale back a little bit because literally I have other responsibilities that I have to take care of. So with that being said, enough of that, right? No one really cares about what's going on, but I felt like it was necessary for me to explain that to you. Because, in the future, things are happening that I didn't actually see happening until they happened. So, like I said, with the phone call, things can change drastically. So, with that being said, I want to talk about probably the show this week is going to be fairly short because I just want to talk about the new Corvette and the new motor and the numbers that GM is actually putting out now on the new Corvette. Now, as you know, a couple months ago, I came on here and I was talking about ordering a new Corvette. I was asking and trying to get everyone's opinion on what they thought about that. In the process, I built a car on Chevrolet.com that was close to what I saw in Bowling Green in April. Again, pitch gray. I fell in love with that color. If you haven't seen pitch gray, it's a new color for 27. It's phenomenal. It had Santorini blue interior in it, and I absolutely had never seen that until April. And when I saw it, I fell in love with it. Long story short, I built that car on the internet. The internet, Chevy.com, kicked out a car in Ohio that was blade silver, which is a 2026 color, with Santorini blue interior. I went and bought the car. And the reason why is because I didn't want to wait on putting an order in on a 27. I was kind of worried about, when you put a new motor out, you kind of wonder how well the new motor's going to work. Are there going to be issues with it? So after 2.5 years of me wanting and drooling over C8 Corvette, I finally got one. Now I'm going to tell you about a couple of different regrets that I have, and then I'll give you to the main number one regret that I have. Now, one of the things that really bothers me is the fact that when GM puts the car out, they put the car out with kind of, I don't even know how to say it, but I have a photograph here. Let me see if I can find a good photograph of what I want to show you. And maybe it'll help you understand. This is the photo I'll use. Let me bring this in. So I'm going to bring this in, and then we'll bring in the camera share. Now, if I can figure out, I tried this. How do I do that? All right, so you see this grill right here? I'm outlining this grill. There are 4 different places on the C8 Corvette that are air intakes. Behind this grill, this isn't a very good photo because you can't see actually what's behind the photo or behind the grill in this photo. But there are radiators behind this grill, and there are radiators behind the side intake. Because the motor is a mid-engine, it's behind the seat of the car. Now, I wish I had better photos, but GM didn't really put a very good form of protection in that. And so literally, I was looking at my car the other day, and there's stuff all over the radiator on the inside of the car. There's all kinds of stuff in there on the radiator, and I'm seeing all kinds of other people that talk about the C8 Corvette. They're saying one of the first things you need to do is put guards in there. And there are after companies that make guards, and GM actually has their own version of those guards. And one of the things that kind of bothers me about the C8 is GM made this car and they know it's an issue. Why wouldn't you put that in there from the factory? Why do you make a guy spend $500 on protecting his radiator when you guys are the one that built the car? So I'm a little bit disappointed with that. And I just wanted to touch on that real quick because that is one thing that bothers me. What is your opinion about that? Like, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about that because that actually bothers me pretty good. I'm going to take the screen share out and I'm going to page through some photos to see if I can find another photo of something else I want to show you. And this is something that is definitely after the fact, after I bought the car. A little bit disappointed. And then we're going to move on to what we want to talk about. So if you look at this photograph right here, you see that there are quad tips on each side of this car. All right. Some cars have, like the high performance cars, have the exhaust coming out of the middle, and this one, it comes out of the side. Now, because of the Camaros that I've owned before, I knew that the quad tips on the back of a car normally means that it has NPP exhaust, which means when you change the mode of the car from tour mode to sport mode and then to track mode, what it does is it opens up the exhaust, right? And for some reason, when they built this car, they did not have performance exhaust added to the list of things for the car. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, why would you put 4 tips on the car? Why does the car have 4 tips on the exhaust in the back of the car? But when you change from tour mode to sport mode, it doesn't open the exhaust. Well, they said the reason why is because we didn't add performance exhaust when we built the car. I'm not going to lie, that bothers me because I love my car, but it doesn't, when you open it up to sport mode or track mode, it doesn't open up the exhaust. I have to spend now another $6,000 or $7,000 on performance exhaust in order to get it. So I'm a little bit disappointed with that, and those are just a couple of things that I wanted to say real quick. And then now I want to talk about some of the other stuff that's come out. So the LS6 motor, which is the new motor for 2027, it has 535 horse. And the car that I bought has 490 horsepower, right? The 6.2 liter V8 has 490 horses. So that's a difference of what they're saying, 45 horsepower, right? Now that's crank horsepower, as we all know, right? Here's the thing. They have put out a number just this week. They put out this statistic, and they're like, dude, the new LS6 or the LS6 motor, the 6.7 liter V8, the car goes 200 mile an hour. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. But what does mine do? Well, the numbers on my car is 196 mile an hour. Okay, 4 mile an hour difference. Now, if you look at the number 196, Obviously that is, you know, that is, there's four numbers in between 196 and 200. The difference between my number is it starts with a 1 and the other number starts with a 2. So everybody's got losing their mind and they're like, my gosh, the new motor, you can get 200 mile an hour out of it and it still has more room to move. Okay, but who's going to drive 200 mile an hour on the road? I'm not. Who's going to drive 196 mile an hour on the road? I'm not. Those are things that happen on the track somewhere with a professional driver, and it's just like, are you kidding me? Like, one is 196, the other is 200. So I guess there are people that want to have that bragging right, that their number starts with 2 and mine starts with 1. I don't care. Like, I probably will never go over 130 in this car, 140 if that. And that'll be on a track somewhere where I'm comfortable doing it. So I think it's kind of funny the way the media puts stuff out and they get you all hyped up and they're like, "Oh my gosh, the new motor goes 200 miles an hour." Great. But I don't know. I don't want to sound negative. I don't want to sound like skeptical. I don't want to sound like an idiot, but really, does it matter? And that's where I kind of go. I think that's where it kind of goes back to the same thing, where there are so many people out there that, like, why are you driving a Stingray? It's a base model Stingray. Why didn't you get a Z06? A Z06 is twice the money. I built one last night on the internet. It's $140,000 car, $145,000 car for a Z06. Yeah, it sounds great. It's got an amazing motor in it, but it's absolutely twice as much money for that car is what I paid for my car. And they both, like my buddy Dave says, they both have an emblem on the front that says Corvette. I have a Corvette, you guys. I finally got a Corvette. And I'm tickled to death that I got a Corvette. And it just goes back to, there are so many people out there that want to say, well, mine's better. Okay, great. Well, if you want to spend twice the money and have something that basically looks like almost exactly like what I have, it's the same body, the same frame, the same build-up, the same motor. There are different variants of different things that come to play. But check it out. It's still a Corvette. Like, I waited my whole life to have my dream car, the Corvette, and I finally got one. And I'm telling you what, I love it. And so I wanted to just kind of touch base on that real quick. Now let's move on to something else. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the new Grand Sport. They released the Grand Sport a couple months back. And on my show 2 weeks ago, if you were here, you saw the excitement in me because we literally discovered on my show, I pulled it into the screen share and I went on to Chevrolet.com. And on that day, 2 weeks ago today, Chevy went live with the prices and the configurator for all other cars. Because before that, all they had on there was the Grand Sport. They said we're going to have the configurator live in April, and they didn't. They didn't have it live until 2 weeks ago. And so I was excited. I was tickled to death to be able to discover that live here with you guys on the internet. I was stoked. I'm telling you, it actually made my day. I don't know if you were as excited about it as I was, but I was tickled to death that we discovered that live on the air on Shop Talk, which is pretty cool. So anyway, the Grand Sport. There are a lot of people that are talking about the Grand Sport and how it is bridging the gap between the Z06 and the Stingray, right? Now they're talking about, well, the Grand Sport has a bigger motor, right? In the 27, it's got the 6.7 liter, 535 horse. The 26 Stingray has, 6.2 liter, 490. It's got more horsepower. It's going to go faster. Okay, great, it goes faster. But here's the thing. I want to ask you real quick. They're saying that right now, I read some production numbers today that said 35% of the 2027s that they've already started to produce are Grand Sports. So in the world of Corvette, there are tons of people that are concerned about how much of a collector car is my car. Like, how rare is it? How is it that the car that I have is more important than the car that you have because it is one of one, or it is one of 50, or it is one of 250. Well, we all know that the Stars and Steel, they're only making 250 of those because it is to commemorate the 250-year birthday of America. They're only making 250, so that car is rare, right? And they're going to charge a whole lot more money. They're going to put a couple stickers on it, and they're going to charge a lot more money for that car because it's rare. Now, they said when the Grand Sport came out, now this is another variant of the cars, and it is going to be amazing. Well, 35% of the cars they're building right now already, they just started production 2 weeks ago. 35% of them are already Grand Sports, which means the market for the Grand Sport or the market for the 2027 Corvette is going to be flooded with the Grand Sport. So right now, you might struggle to find a Grand Sport, a C8 Grand Sport, let's be more specific, because they just started making them. But check it out. If you wait a year and they keep making so many cars, you're going to be able to go find one, and you're probably going to be able to find one under MSRP, I'm guessing. So what I wanted to talk about is, what do you get when you get a Grand Sport? All right. Now, I did a little bit of research, and let's talk about the difference between a Stingray Corvette 27 and a 27 Grand Sport. What are the differences? There aren't very many differences. The main difference is the fact that the Grand Sport is a wide body kit. Now, I'm not going to lie. I had my C7 parked next to a Z06 C7 in Bowling Green. And the Z06 obviously also has the wide body. So the wide body is something that is definitely very cool. Like, it's a subtle change, but it is enough to know when you see it, you can't unsee it. So a typical Stingray has a regular Stingray body, and a Z06 and a Grand Sport has a wide body. So does the E-Ray, the ZR1, the ZR1X. All of those have wide bodies. The only one that doesn't have a wide body is the Stingray. So the main difference is the Grand Sport has a wide body. Number one, it has a wide body. Number two, it has better suspension, right? And the other thing is that it has the Z52 package on it. Now, that's a race performance package, just like the Z51 is on the Stingray. They call it a Z52 on the Grand Sport. Obviously, it has to do with bigger calipers. It has to do with Brembo brakes. It has to do with more performance parts on the car. But here's the question that I have for you, right? The the Stingray, and I'm looking down at my notes this because I want to make sure I get it right. I don't like to put out stuff that's not right. The Stingray for 2027 is $73,495. The Grand Sport for 2027 is $88,495. That's $15,000 difference. Do the math. I had to put it in a calculator, but it's $15,000. You have to ask yourself the question, first of all, is the Grand Sport going to be that rare if they flood the market with them? If every single dealership gets an allocation and they just slap together a Grand Sport and they buy it and they put it on their floor and then they mark it up $10,000 or $15,000 because it's the new thing, is it really worth that? Because not only are you going to pay 10 or 15 over MSRP, but you're also paying $15,000 just alone over the cost of a regular Stingray. Now, I want to tell you, I'm not trying to talk bad about the Grand Sport. There are a lot of cool things about the Grand Sport. Would I have one? Yes, I would have one. But my question is it worth that extra money? Because I'll be honest with you, if I was going to spend that extra money, I might even go a little bit more and say I would rather have a Z06. What do you think? What is your opinion of that? Do you think it's worth $15,000 more? I don't know. That would have to be something that you decide for yourself. Obviously, if you're the one buying the car. But I built the Z06 on Chevy.com, and I also built, I told you 2 weeks ago when we discovered that that it was going to be live. Yeah, I got a brand new C8 in my garage, but I'm still building cars on Chevy.com. That's probably not ever going to stop. When I'm bored, and that's kind of what I do to relax and just enjoy my free time, I get on Chevy.com and I build cars. It's fun. Heck, I even get on Cadillac.com and build Cadillacs because I love Cadillac. So I guess where I'm going with this is if you're going to have a car in the garage, and I guess I'm saying this from the aspect of I consider myself a blue-collar worker because I work a lot, and I have to work hard for what I have. So don't think for a minute that the C8 that I have came easy to me, because it didn't. I struggled for 2.5 years wanting a C8, but I tried to convince myself, I need to start with the C7, and I want to have a Camaro because I love Camaros. I can't do the C8 yet. I'm going to wait until I retire. Well, I'm 59 years old, and I plan on retiring at hopefully 62. Worst case scenario, it'll be 65, which, think about that. That's only 6 years for me. 5.5, if you want to be technical. 65 is 5.5 years for me. And I was like, I kept going to car shows, and especially when you go to the Bud's Corvette Cruise-In in St. Mary's, Ohio at Bud Chevrolet, literally there are hundreds of people that show up at the Corvette Cruise-In, and most of the people are older people. And I have a couple of friends that do the same thing, but they are older people. They're retired. They waited their whole life to get a Corvette. Some of them haven't. Some of them have had other Corvettes leading up to then, but they can't hardly get around. And I've actually walked by cars before at the Corvette Cruise-In and seen an older couple sitting in the car. And I'm like, are you guys going to get out and, like, you know, talk to people and kind of enjoy it? And they're like, well, you know, he's got a hip problem and she can't hardly get around. She's got knee surgery. And I'm like, you know what? I was thinking about that. I'm like, dude, I go to the gym 2 or 3 times a week to try to stay healthy, to try to stay fit. I know that's probably a shock because I'm a big guy and I still work out a lot. But here's the thing. I decided, why do I keep banging my head against the wall with a C7 and a Camaro when I can actually afford a C8? Can I afford to have 4 or 5 cars in my garage? Probably not. But I can swing it. Like, I just got off the phone with my banker today, and she's like, dude, did you sell your C7? And I'm like, I traded it in. She's like, okay, congratulations. I know you've been wanting one for a while. Because I've been talking to her for literally 2 years about financing a C8, and I finally got one. So what I'm saying about that and where I'm going with that is this. If you're thinking about getting a C8 and you're sitting on the edge of your chair and you can't decide, I'm saying right now, I'm telling you, MusicMan's saying this, go buy the car because you only live once. And if you wait until you retire and something happens between now and then and you can't literally enjoy the car, then what's the point? Like, if you wait and then you can't enjoy it, it's going to kind of suck. I'm sorry to say that, but it's going to suck. Yeah. Is it the easiest car to get in and out of? No, not really. Not for a big guy like me. But I told you that I was going to tell you some of the regrets that I have about the C8. I told you 2 of them. The number one was why don't they put radiator guards in the car from the factory? Why do they make you buy aftermarket guards to put in there? The second thing is the exhaust. Why do you got 4-tip exhaust on the car and it not have the ability to open it up to NPP, to open it up to sport mode and track mode? Why you got to make me spend more money to have that? And the main number one regret that I have with my C8 Corvette, here it is. You guys ready? Why did I wait? I should have not waited. I should have bought one a couple years ago because guess what? I would have been able to enjoy the car for a couple of years already. Now, I'm telling you that all of that to tell you this. If you're interested or you're thinking about getting a C8 Corvette, you will never regret buying it because it is an amazing car. Like, I can't even explain to you, out of all the cars that I've had, and I'm not sitting here and I'm not trying to act like I've been doing the car thing for 20 years because I haven't. I have been a motorcycle guy most of my life. Out of the corner of my eye, been looking at cars. I have a friend of mine that we were talking the other day. I'm like, dude, I remember going to high school. I graduated in 85. And I remember everybody pulling in a IROC Z or a Camaro or a Mustang, any kind of muscle car. And I was riding a 12-speed bicycle because that's what I could afford, right? And all my life I thought, man, I can't wait to get older. I'm going to get one. Well, I got involved in motorcycles, and I don't regret that. I love motorcycles. But about 3 years ago, I got into the cars because I'm like, I'm getting up to that age where I would really like to be able to turn the air on when I get hot. And you can't do that on a motorcycle, right? So I got into cars. The first one was a convertible Camaro. Again, and I don't want to get sidetracked, but what I'm trying to tell you is if you think you want a C8 Corvette and you're on the edge, I'm telling you, don't be on the edge because it'll be a purchase that you make that you'll never regret. If you want to go through the ranks and buy a C6 or a C5 and then a C7 and then get into a C8 and you're going to retire in 10 years, you know what? Do that. because you can walk yourself up to the C8. But what I'm telling you is I did it. I got a C7. I loved my C7. And then I got a C8, and I'm like, why did I even bother with the C7? Because it's completely different, and it is absolutely phenomenal to have a C8 in the garage. So the other thing is, again, and that's what this show this week was about for me, is, make sure that you decide for yourself what is important. Do I need front lift on my car for $5,000, $6,000? Do I need front lift? Do I need a ZR1? Do I need a Z06? Do I have to have a Grand Sport? Or maybe you do. Maybe you want a Grand Sport X. You have to wait until later on in the year for a Grand Sport X. Obviously, the Grand Sport X is the one with the front electric motor. They're not producing those yet because they're just trying to get into the rhythm of making the Grand Sport, and then in the fall, they're probably going to bring out they've already introduced it, but they haven't actually started making them yet. So all I'm saying tonight on Shop Talk is decide what you want, decide what's important to you, and buy it. And if you want a 5th gen Camaro, buy a 5th gen Camaro. If you want a 6th gen Camaro, buy a 6th gen Camaro. And speaking of Camaro, remember a couple months ago, everybody was talking about they're going to start making the Camaro again. Everybody was excited. They all lost their mind. And then the social media put out, it's going to be a 4-door. And then everybody was like, well, they're going to put manual transmissions in them. And they might make a variant of the regular coupe 2-door. And they're going to probably make it possible to get a coupe with a manual transmission. But have you noticed the last couple weeks it's been really quiet? Like, what's going on with the Camaro? I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I'm interested in waiting to see what happens because I have a lot of Camaro friends, and I know that they're excited about it. I'm excited about it too, don't get me wrong, because I love every Camaro that I've had or have. I don't know why, but I think I like my 5th gen more than I have the other 3 6th gens that I had. I think it's because like I said earlier, I'm a bigger guy. There's more room in a 5th gen Camaro. Like, if you don't know Camaro, I'm telling you from a person that has had 5th and 6th gen, there's more room in the 5th gen Camaro. So what is the 7th gen going to look like? And is it going to be a 4-door? Like, the Dodge Charger is a 4-door car, and they put V8s in it. Is it going to be something that you can handle? Or is it going to be one of those things like me? I don't think I could ever buy a 4-door Camaro. That just doesn't sound right to me. And I don't know why I went off on this Camaro thing. But I guess it's because I had 2 vacations scheduled this weekend and next weekend. I had 2 shows scheduled to go to with my Camaro. And now that's all changed. So I decided to make the show more about the Corvette this week, and that's okay. But anyway, I have to go because, as you know, I try to keep my show to about a half hour, 45 minutes because I have to go to work. And so I just wanted to talk about those things for you. Again, 3 regrets with the C8. One more time, and I'll let you go. Why do I have to put grill guards in my brand new C8 Corvette? Why did you put 4-tip exhaust on the Corvette and not make it possible to open and close the exhaust in PP? And the first and foremost, number one regret of my C8 is, why did I wait to buy it? And those are just some questions. Now, if you would, again, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. It's totally free. It doesn't cost anything. You're not going to, I know people see the word subscription and they're like, well, I'm subscribed to Paramount Plus and it costs me $15 a month. Subscribing on YouTube is completely different. It's 100% free. And do me another favor. Every single time you watch one of my videos, hit the thumbs up button, because what that does is it tells YouTube that you like what you're seeing. And I promise you, I have 4 or 5 videos right now in the bank that I need to get around to putting up on my channel. And again, one more thing, I'm going to back off a little bit of doing car stuff every weekend and being so busy that I can't see straight. But I'm still going to do YouTube. So I will see you in 2 weeks. Excuse me. I'm going to be back in 2 weeks on July 21st for another shop talk. And in the meantime, we'll kind of sit back and see what happens. Into July, summer's definitely here. Summer is definitely in full swing. And if you are a Camaro person watching this show and you're going to Superfest and you're going to Camaro Nationals out in Morgantown, Pennsylvania, you guys have a blast. Sorry that I can't make it this year, but I'm not going to be able to make it. And if you're going to Camaro Fest, I know Camaro Fest is also going on this weekend down at Bowling Green at the NCM Motorsports Park. So you guys be safe, run your car down the track, enjoy it, have a good time. And the other thing that is coming up for me with the C8 is Corvettes of Carlisle. I've wanted to go to Corvettes of Carlisle forever, and it happens in August. I believe the dates are the 19th through the 22nd. I have that scheduled off on a vacation. I can't wait to drive my C8 Corvette to that event. Corvettes of Carlisle is the next thing on the agenda for me. So again, thanks for hanging out with me today. And if you would, hit the thumbs up button and leave a comment. What car do you have? What do you think about my opinion of the C8 Stingray and the difference between that and the Grand Sport? And check it out. I will see you back here in 2 weeks for Shop Talk. MusicMan, I am out.